Don't look down, Manny. The potty monster doesn't like it when you look at him.
Yeah, this is my breakfast, kid.
Hello everybody. Now it feels good to have vlogs planned out almost a whole month in advance, but what exactly are you planning here, Kale? Like, this is the fourth vlog based off the Wimpy Kid books. Basically, the first one was of the series in general, the second one was a section of the Meltdown book where they were building snow forts and stuff, and the third one was about Roderick. But now we're doing an episode about Manny the toddler. So what, we're just gonna center them around characters in this universe now? Like, who's next? The Fregley kid? Mother of Mary God. You can't marry God, Kale. That's something. You know what? I don't even think we hear that often from the Fregley guy anyway. He's one of those characters that the author has just left in the dust, for the most part, but I digress. No, you see, the reason I'm making an episode based on this 3-year-old is primarily because I'm getting tired of the old tropes. It's never my intention to go out of my way to be mean to people, and I've never ever said any names, but in the past I have given children a lot of my crap in these videos for being too annoying, unintelligent, and self-centered. I found some fan-made Wimpy Kid pages, and I'm not gonna lie, they were pretty uncomfortable. Like, the fans hate the hell out of Manny. I get it, but come on, he's just a small boy. Who called for this shit? It's like when people were giving Roshan, you know, the Ice Age baby, a lot of crap for being annoying. But why, though? I mean, I know, it's the internet. People are gonna do whatever they want, but I'm just saying, it's uncalled for, and, you know, it's better to have the internet and occasionally stumble into some crap you don't care about than to not have it at all. I can't stop people from being stupid, even if they do it on purpose, but you know, it's kinda harsh out there. Companies like to improve with their policies over time, and I think KIS is leaning towards that direction in the year of 2026. I mean, let me be clear. Children are annoying. You cannot act like they aren't. And I don't really hang around them that often. But I'm just saying, I don't like to be judged for the things I can't control, so I'm thinking maybe it's time to just hang the coat up and not judge them so much for what they can't control. Just do your best to ignore them. It's not about cursing or anything. That will continue in future episodes. Hopefully in a lesser quantity, but it will continue. However, though, you can still be a cool, kind dude and have a rougher mouth. You should see the guys I work with. It's definitely possible. So yeah, now we will discuss Manny here in a minute, but I want to show you guys where some neighbors of mine happened to move to a while back. Yeah, I opened my blackout curtains for this one. So, this house right next to my bedroom belongs to a guy named Phil, I do believe. Never met him, but that's what I've been told. But the house behind his house, there was a family that moved there. It was about a man, a wife, and their 2 daughters. They moved to Massachusetts, which is where the Wimpy Kid books take place, from what I've Googled. Interesting coincidence. I'm kind of curious to know what it's like over there in Wimpland. It's the state I think about the least. So it's an interesting pick, and maybe I can ask my sister, who plays with their daughters online every now and then, ask her to ask them, what is the whole wimp world about? No, just kidding, I'm not gonna ask her that. But, you know, people move to different areas for whatever reasons they have. I'm not one to move out of my zone. I've been living in the same basic area my whole life. Like most babies, I started off in the hospital, but probably like maybe 2 days later, I moved out of the hospital. This apartment complex was my first true home. I lived here for the first 4 months of my life, but the furthest I've lived from my starting point, you know, the hospital, is my secondary home where I currently live, about 35 miles away from said hospital. And those 35 miles is roughly the entire width of the tiny-ass state of Rhode Island. That's impossible! Dang, dude, I don't know why states that small have to exist. I mean, it's not as bad as DC not being in a state. I guess the height kind of makes up for it. I suppose that's why they chose Massachusetts, because, you know, they're so damn small. But I'm getting off topic. I digress here. From what I've heard, so like, I'm not confirming it or anything, I don't know if it's true even, but from what I've heard, in the 20th book, Party Pooper, interesting that that word is in the title of this book, but from what I've heard, in this 20th book, Greg is now a year older. Time moved forward in this universe? Again, I'm not certain about it, but I think Greg might be 13, Roderick is 18, and Manny is 4. So, I mean, for you guys who have read the book, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just what I've told would happen in this milestone book. Like, it's 20 books, damn it. However, though, I already called that Greg is dead in the last Wimpy Kid vlog I did, so we're just gonna pass the torch down to his younger brother Manny anyway. An even wimpier wimp. Besides, Greg couldn't even fit in the thumbnail for this episode, so I don't have much to say, either optimistic or pessimistic. I mean, I guess this kid is smarter than all us internet nerds give him credit for. I mean, on one hand, he likes his mustard to be lined out the shorter way instead of across the hot dog. If that doesn't scream cheap-ass cheapskate, then I don't know what does. Plus, he basically nearly starved his whole family by taking all the food from the pantry to his bedroom to use for his tea party with his plushies. Nobody knew where all that food was until it was almost too late. Again, cheapskate, but he is a toddler. Just gotta explain to him that we only use toy food for our toy people. The rest of us might be too broke to even go out and get food, and even if we aren't, there's a blizzard. So yeah, you better share. Reminds me of this kid who wanted to play with my stress fidget this one time, despite the fact that he literally lived right next door and had plenty of toys of his own. There's no reason for him to have what I have. And my mom was basically like, Kale said no. They're in the process of learning this common sense shit. Like, it takes a while for it to really kick off, you know? Like, they gotta learn it and know how to use it. You give it some time, they'll figure it out. Until a new generation of kids comes along and the process repeats itself. Damn, this life is too long. So yeah, at his core, he is just a small child. But when I say he's smart, he kinda, sorta, maybe learned his lesson after the fiasco with stealing the food from the pantry. In one book, he was able to get his family out of a serious pickle on their road trip. Basically, they had gotten a flat tire, and the two people that came to help them could only understand Spanish. But Manny, this 3-year-old that struggles to even speak English most of the time, could speak in near-perfect Spanish. Yeah, he was able to do that after having heard just a few educational CDs in the car for maybe like 2 or 3 days maximum. It would take my whole life to learn Spanish, or any other language. I swear, the human brain is interesting. But doubly so for a child. Like, who in Bucktooth hell knows what's gonna come out of that child's mouth next? Manny is one of the main characters to this book franchise, so I'm sure there are tons more scenarios I could have used for this episode. But, you know, I'm not a research type person. I just have to go off maybe some research, but I don't want to just spend hours and hours on it. So, surely, this will be the final Wimpy Kid blog I ever do. But I guess only the future knows for sure. I mean, I did say that for the last Wimpy Kid blog. I was going to wrap it up with a trilogy, but you know, that didn't happen. To you abusive grown-ups that whip your small children, how about you knock that shit off? Because it's only going to mentally harm them even more. It's 2026, guys. We need to get in the groove. But anyway, that was this episode. I will see you later.